throws all your standard out of the window. And they all lie by structure and omission, so I don't really give a fuck whatever they say, no matter if it's a right-wing or left-wing or fair journalism or, unless you're just reporting straight facts, you are narrativizing and you are lying by structure and omission.
So I understand that no one can, it would be delusional to say none of us have any bias, and journalists do tend to lean left in America and in Israel, right? At least in Haaretz reporters, right? To pretend that they don't choose stories or choose what to include or omit isn't shaped by their unconscious bias would be lying, and I would never say that, so I'll concede that point. However, I think generally they meet the gold standard of reporting, which has been developed over many, many years. I know that people think that we're just propagandists, but there is a standard where we provide attribution. We provide attribution for every claim. And increasingly, because there's distrust in the media, we also show our work. We show the
scenes behind. My criticism. You don't get my criticism. I think journalism should be propagandistic.
Oh, okay.
It should not pretend. It should not pretend not to be, because that's a lie. You just have to be very clear what side you propagandize for, and don't try to delude people into the spiritual signaling. Oh, I'm propagandizing a neutral position. I'm just speaking the truth. Listen, you have an agenda. It's very clear what your agenda is. It's very clear for everyone. What agenda does the Guardian have? It's you don't you have to be an imbecile not to understand who they are and what their goals are. Okay, same for Ynet, same for Haaretz, same for Washington Post, whatever.
You see no value. You see no value. You see no value in at least attempting to be objective in reporting, and to having certain type of journalism that attempts to be objective.
Truthful, and you listen, if you can do dispassionate reporting, that will be self-evident.
You don't think the Haaretz is dispassionate? Do you know the difference between the opinion pages and the reporting pages, the factual pages?
So of course I do know the difference. But when you are the Haaretz, okay, and you have opinion and reporting, you can take and you can slice out all their opinions, okay, and just look at their factual reporting, and even there, by the way, they will be selecting stories, okay, so they will be narrativizing in their editorial process of just how they select the story, okay. They will run something and they will not run something else. They will
always, yes, I agree. I conceded this.
They will choose to bury something at the bottom of the page.
That's still not propaganda.
It's unconscious bias, Ellie, but it's not intentional to deceive.
Propaganda is a promotion.
You're purposely misleading.
No, that's the negative association of propaganda.
Ellie, I think what you're talking about is unconscious bias.
Then you're making no distinction. Then, if everything is propaganda, nothing is propaganda. Simply because, you said, if everyone has a point of view,
he's muddying facts. Yeah.
Expressing my view doesn't make it a propaganda.
I was using propaganda in a neutral.
I am as well.
In a negative manner.
Propaganda is intention to deceive. There's no intention to deceive.
No, it's actually not true. But propaganda is a promotion of something.
Okay, Ellie, question.
I've got a question.
All right, my friend, go.
I was just going to ask briefly if you could tell me the title in English.
It says, "From the river to the sea, Buttercup will be free."
Honestly, can we just add free from the leftism, or can we not do that?
So what?
What?
Can we say Buttercup will be free, and then just add the from leftism?
No thanks.
Wait.
That's not freedom, though.
I had a very specific question to you. I outlined 4 groups of people that you can try to influence with your behavior. Okay, enemies, friends, the people who don't care, and the people who needs to be convinced. Do you think that there is a 5th group?
My goal is not to convince, but I understand what you're saying.
Wait, but you strayed from my question.
Okay.
Please just answer
Say it again. What are the categories? Say them again. Friends, enemies?
Friends, enemies, people to be convinced, and people who don't give a fuck.
I think there's a 5th category.
Okay, go ahead.
I think journalism serves the community. It makes it healthy. I think it's important.
I'm saying the community.
What about us? I'm us. I'm us. I'm the community, and I'm in it. I want to say the wider.
You belong to one of the 4 categories.
Which one?
Either a friend, a foe, you don't care, or you need to be convinced.
I don't think that's the point in journalism. Journalism is not going to be able to convince people. It serves the community, makes it healthy.
Before we talk about journalism, I'm just saying in any conflict, in any, let's say Israel-Palestine, for Israelis or Jews,
Yeah.
okay, you have four categories of people: the friends, the foes, the people who are behind the groups to be convinced, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we as a collective, as a nation, or whatever, we run our society. Okay, we run.
So
our
what's
news.
most effective? I think the people who are honest, not the people who sugarcoat
Wait,
and dodge and use euphemisms and lie. That doesn't convince anybody. We're not stupid.
You try to stray away from where I'm trying to lead you. Okay, I have a point, but I'm like asking questions to engage if we are on the same page. My sense, okay, is that the people who are remain to be convinced are very few. Like around the world, the people that need convincing.
So why lie then? Why lie? Why just?
Where before we are saying what we do, we lie, we don't lie, whatever. You asked about airing dirty laundry. Okay, I'm addressing that point.
Okay.
I'm saying
Fine.
Around the world there are very few people that need convincing, who have not made their mind, who do not have an affiliation. So basically, whenever you engage in any public, how do you call it, public opinion, you engage in publicity, right? You either talk to your friends, you talk to your enemies, and you do not, the people who don't care don't listen. In any case, correct?
Correct.
So if you saw your dirty laundry, okay, and you're being honest, would that change the mind of your enemies about you?
I don't know that, maybe not enemies, but the people who just don't know a lot of Jewish people, and this is their only impression. You're just going to make them seem like more
they either
sane,
don't care,
people.
or either that they don't care, or they're in the group of needing to be convinced. Most of them in the groups that don't care, so they don't even listen.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are not, who did not make their mind, are very few.
Listen, but I think I think the problem with your analogy is that many people who you see as enemies, I don't see as enemies, because I think if they're critical, of the Israeli government the same way you are, but you see them as enemies. And so I think that they actually don't hate Jewish people. They're not anti-Semitic. They don't hate Israeli men. They may have Israeli friends. They may have Israeli friends. They may have traveled to Israel.
You don't know what I invest in the category of.
We need to be more specific about these definitions then, because I think the enemies category is very small. It's much smaller than you think it is.
Oh really?
Yes, I mean they think I'm a capo, right, Ellie? I'm an enemy. Do you think I'm an enemy? No. So we have to define these definitions.
Wait. To whom are you an enemy?
To the pro-Israel camp, the Friends. The Friends believe I'm an enemy, right? So what am I?
You are tagged as an enemy for convenience.
What do you consider an enemy? Doesn't want Israel's best interest at heart? Someone who doesn't want Israel to survive and for the people to survive and not get hurt? Like, are those enemies?
Basically, when I think about friend-enemy category, is just their actions promote the well-being or diminish the well-being, even in small.
So I disagree. I disagree with your category. I promote the well-being of Israel.
Well, I didn't say that you're an enemy. I say you're being tagged as an enemy for convenience.
Okay, and some tag me as a friend. The enemies tag me as a friend.
Yeah, it's okay, but listen, people can be mislabeled. That's okay. But my point is that people either promote your interest or go against your interest in their actions. And most people's actions are very small. For example, most people only influence your well-being or the lack of it by just, having a positive or negative opinion of you. So it's like, when the general opinion of you is good, okay, around the world, it's just it snowballs, right? Popularity has like this tendency to just spread, and negativity also has the tendency to spread. So if you, for example, if you hold a negative opinion of Israel, you promote the fact that like more and more people are less favorable at Israel, because most people are not critical. Most people are not convinced by facts.
Okay.
They're convinced by their friends' opinions.
Okay.
Okay, so and you can have your best interests at heart, but like in action, you can.
Okay, you said people are most convinced by their friends. If the so-called enemies, which I don't consider them enemies, but you see them as enemies of let's say, the state of Israel, if they see me as a friend and I criticize, let's say, both governments as not serving their people, who's more critical, me or Bibi Kaparo, who says Israel's perfect and has amazing tomatoes and
You're very concerned with labeling one individual, which is you. But I'm saying, like, obvious.
No, I'm talking about I'm saying why we need to be more honest and less blindly, reflexively pro-Israel all the time. All of us friends.
So I'm saying this is why we have to talk about just how people's opinion work and how general populations are being influenced in terms of opinion, right? So you are thinking that by being truthful, you will spread positivity towards Israel.
Not positivity, but honestly, we don't need to lie to people. I trust people's intelligence. Honest perception. We're not. Israel is neither better than everyone. It's neither worse. We're just normal humans. It's the idea, Ellie. It's the idea that we're humans like everyone else, and we have flaws, and we have good qualities. And the problem is we've been vilified or lionized, and neither is true, and neither is accurate, and neither is credible. Okay. So what we do is when we talk about the truth, we make Israel's humans again. Israelis are humans. They're not monsters, and they're not angels. And that's what we need to promote, because that's accurate.
Most people are completely not receptive to your pleas.
I disagree, because as someone who is camped out with the enemies, as you say, that hasn't been my experience.
No, that's not my point. I can mention my enemies. Listen, if I'm charismatic.
Alright, I leave the house.
The First Amendment is basically America's Wi-Fi password. Without it, nobody's logging in, nobody's talking.
Alright, I'm gonna go.
Government is a buffer your life.
Are you feeling left out of the conversation that you maybe you can ask if you can interrupt instead of being a bitch.
And before I go out, I want to make permission to my room that everybody will come
Oh, no.
to my room.
Okay, you have a permission to speak. Go ahead.
That's why I come here, to make commercials that Buttercup will bring all the people to my room, and maybe only Bibi Kapara, she can, as a liar, Bibi Kapara, she can,
I can keep him. You let me keep him.
Thank you, Amos. Thank you.
I'll babysit him.
Thank you.
The last time he put all the blame for you, he broke my room and he put all the garbage on you. So I waited for this time to see who is right and who is wrong. You're Bibi. Yes, Bibi, what you have to say? That's your time.
So I have a question, and I it's kind of sentimenting around what Ellie's saying. Do you think right now is the right time to critique and criticize Israel, or wait till we get our hostages back and the war stops? Because right now I find that it's very detrimental and it's hurtful. While they're in the middle of a war, sure, they probably need criticism, but can't that wait? I don't know if you see
Can I try to respond to that? Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
Well, I was asking you and Buttercup basically, because I know it was a question for her, but in my opinion, one of the things that makes Judaism great and one of the things that makes Israel great is, not to use like a tired phrase, but that we are on the right side of history. I think that being on the right side of history should give you some level of confidence that eventually it's going to work out in our favor. And I think that it's important to maintain integrity. And I think if that means being self-critical, so be it. I definitely think that there's a stopping point where we've got to stop short of being self-hating. But I think that being self-critical is one of the things, and being able to look ourselves in the mirror is one of the things that separates us from, the other side.
Foundational to our culture, in my opinion, but maybe not Israeli culture. I don't know.
And then I want to bring up the topic about the New York Times probably corrected. I don't know if it's taking the conversation in the wrong direction about
It's off topic.
Charlie Charlie Kirk?
No, we're not talking.
Is that off topic?
Yesterday was Charlie Kirk.
Okay, so
You played my clips over and over. If you want, you can play the clips to capture how I feel about it.
Maybe it's
I never
going to be
played it.
Charlie Kirk for a long time, as far as I'm concerned, but it's not my room.
I never played any Scribe clips from you. It was just there was a correction made on September 11th, 2025. Earlier version of this article described incorrectly on anti-Semitic statement that Charlie Kirk had made on an episode on this podcast. He was actually quoting a statement from a post on social media and went to critique it. It was not his own statement.
There were multiple clips of him on his show talking about the Jewish Marxist funders' dollars that are corrupting our world. Multiple, okay? BB, we're not getting into your anti-Semitic friend right now. We're not talking about Nazis on this show because this is for people against racism and hatred.
My anti-Semitic what?
I'm saying your friend, your anti-Semitic racist Nazi friend, may he rest in peace, may his memory be a blessing, is not the topic, okay?
So who do you think is hurting Israel more, you or him?
You. We're talking about you here, BB. We're talking about you or me, not
No, we're talking about you.
I'd like to talk about me.
Oh, good, my friend.
No, but I wanted to talk about the statement.
Let's hear a new voice. Jason, speak. What do you want to say?
Exactly, silencing people that critique.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to say, I think Ellie is maybe oversimplifying, calling, talking about enemies, but they're people who aren't persuadable, more pragmatically, and those people are really out there, and Ellie is right. And going all the way back, propaganda isn't always lying, but propaganda is presenting things that make you look good and the other side look bad. A lot of the time that's presenting true stuff. And if you want to win, sometimes you got to do that. And there is a time for a rational and searching evaluation of facts, not just because presenting things that are true, but not presenting all of them is a way to slant things. And journalists do that. Journalists have to make a choice about which facts to present, and they present the facts that they like and don't always present the facts that they don't like.
I think there's
that process. I'll finish up here. That process where you go through and find the facts that you don't like also, and give them equal weight with the things that you think are important and that you do like. That is something researchers do. That's something intelligence analysts do. That's not something that.
You're wrong, Jason.
It's not something
I'm
that
the only
journalists
journalist on
do
this stage.
professionally. Well,
They do. You're wrong. There is a journalistic method, and let me explain it to you.
There's a lot of stuff written up about this, and even intelligence analysts fail to do it unless they follow a very rigorous methodology, and that is peculiar to their profession.
Unlike any other profession,
You keep saying you're journalists. What articles are you?
Well, I'm not going to ask you, Buttercup, who you are or what you do. I respect your anonymity, okay? But I certainly have seen a lot of coverage on numerous issues that is not where they have okay, here's the half of the paper that is the things that we believe that are true, and here's all the things that contradict what we have to say.
So I think if you look at any mainstream paper, listen, if you look at, you're wrong though, because you're stating misfacts.
Well, what if we have a more structured discussion here? Because I was just about to finish up.
Okay, so let's.
And there's a structured process for that, but it's not always the time to do that.
Okay.
And so I can see the argument.
So now is the time for propaganda.
I can see the argument these guys are making that what we're up against is people who are putting their best facts forward. Maybe it's time for us to put our best facts forward.
Got it. Thank you.
I was, by the way, not making any normative suggestions. I wasn't saying what is right. I was just trying to explain how people label someone and try to engage with what reality is.
Okay.
Descriptive, not prescriptive.
I just want to correct something about journalism that Jason said. There are some publications that blur the line between fact, opinion, and dispassionate reporting, right? But any mainstream publication, anything that is perspective, they will label as either analysis or opinion. That's like the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Haaretz. They would never, ever, it's a big faux pas, a big taboo to ever conflate opinion with dispassionate reporting. I will admit that of course, everyone has unconscious bias, and like Ellie pointed out accurately, that there are choices that are made what to include and what to omit, and that has to do with the reporters or editors bias or even the publication's bias. But I think usually the interest is not in validating their worldview, but whether or not it's newsworthy, whether or not it's interesting to the public, whether it counteracts mainstream narratives. That's usually the judgment that's made, whether to include a story or not include a story. In fact, I've written in my career as a journalist, I've written extensively about political corruption, mostly about liberals, mostly about Democrats, because that's where I live. I live in a liberal area. And what I do, even when it challenges the mainstream liberal orthodoxy, we think it's especially newsworthy because it challenges people's worldview, and that makes it interesting, and that's why it makes the front page. So I think this sort of like this binary that we have, that like it's left, right, is not always the case. I think journalism is motivated by what's interesting to people, what's relevant to people, and what challenges the normative view. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Ellie.
You can claim that for individual reporters and individual journalists when you have a publication. That publication shapes shapes around some political bent that either the main, how they call it, main redactor, suggest the word like
editor. You mean the editor?
Yeah, editor. Yeah, the lead editor or the most amount of people, like their political affiliation, that work for that publication.
Yeah, there is unconscious bias. Like I said, I'm talking about motivation.
Or their customers, because they have to cater to some people who pay them, or the advertiser. Great point.
So let's take Israel ecosystem. There are television.
I'll just finish.
Okay.
Just hand waving that away and saying, oh, it's just unconscious bias. No. Okay, you should own up to that and not try to gaslight people that you do not have this bent. It's okay.
No, a lot of publications, they're proud of their independence they don't tell people what they want to hear. There are television, especially in US and in Israel, tell people what they want to hear because they have advertisers and they have a model that primarily wants to give people, the subscribers, what they want. But
okay,
journalism,
you think the Guardian is not catering to an audience?
The Guardian is a British publication. I'm much more familiar with libel laws and standards in America and a little bit in Israel, but not in Britain. Britain has a whole different view, a whole different set of laws. So I don't even know.
But the business model is still based on...
No, there are standards and laws. There's actually case law about this. You can sue for libel.
You can completely respond to the law and completely cater to your audience. That's totally...
it's illegal. In America, they sued Fox News for billions of dollars.
But you know, we spoke about it, and like, I think like 3 days ago, the libel you can sue as a person or as an organization, not as for example, as a country, or the IDF, or Jews, okay? This cannot happen.
No. People in power, politicians, countries, entities should not have protection. They should be scrutinized till the end of day, right? This is for the protection of the people. Institutions, countries are not people.
I'm talking about hold on, we're talking about media, I'm talking about...
Media and libel are designed to protect me and you and Israelis.
One second. I'm talking about the media and accountability, and you were talking about
am I a Republican? No, I'm a person.
Information.
Because I'm saying it for someone that passed away.
For good reason.
One second. Please, Monica.
Okay.
Like, I look like, am I triggering you, or just like I
No. I'm trying to...
30 seconds ago?
Yeah, I know what you said.
This protection is for individuals and for like organizations. They have a name, okay? Not for Jews, not for the IDF, not for Israel, not for Zionists, not for Muslims, not for any of
You can
this,
pretend in your head you're a cat. You can pretend in your head that you're
it's about individuals.
I agree with you.
It's not relevant for the conversation.
And there was a good reason for this, Daniel. The point of journalism, I think the old phrase is you need to afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted. The point is not to serve powerful entities like the Israeli government or like Jewish institutions that are fighting for Israel's reputation or like things like this. The point is to serve the people. A society is only as healthy as its free press.
Why is it okay for you to criticize the Jewish institutions, but it's not okay for Charlie Kirk to criticize the Jewish institutions?
We're not talking about Kirk right now. We're talking about this is
Jewish institutions.
Presenting some kind of is not libel. and you can't be sued for it.
And if you want to talk about
And
language,
that, I think, relates to what Ellie is
kind of
saying.
behavior,
Okay, partial truths are a
language
good
that
way
may
to
in
shape
some way
people's
influence
views.
people.
And
The country is still
it's very
shocked and
hard to sue
horrified by
anyone
yesterday's
for presenting
assassination of
partial
conservative activist Charlie
Listen,
Kirk.
I
However
don't
you
This
feel
is
about
not
his
harmful
politics,
though to present
just
what
what transpired here.
Without suspicion
But
was that
wait,
he was
you
radical
are
left.
dancing around
And
and
then
you're
you have more
shooting the
information.
I'm sorry.
What can you
like,
share with
this
us
is
about
one
And by the way, Lars is doing a
All right.
good job.
Do you want to clarify? Do you want to move the goalpost back?
Yes, because the goalpost is, I'm saying, you, like, any journalistic venue,
I don't want to go too
usually,
far.
and
I'd
there
like
are
to
some
tell you some
exceptions
stories
that,
that how it happened.
you
Essentially,
can
somebody
find
who was
most
very
dispassionate
close to him turned him in. And that happens when you have somebody who's good shot. Somebody is going to say, whether it's a parent or whatever, I'd rather not say right now, they're going to win out.
You like Wall Street Journal?
on business and economics, yeah.
Let's say, and then you read it and you have the feel that, yeah, they're not bending some political line, okay? So for me, that would not be propaganda because they're not promoting something. They're just...
You're actually wrong. Economics is a very polarized
We're
thing,
still
and
trying to
people
wrap
make
our
sense
heads
of it.
around
Economics
the
itself
senseless murder of the popular podcaster and conservative activist Charlie Kirk yesterday, whose death has amplified our anger on
You don't want to
public safety when you said the killer was in custody.
I talk about The Guardian and so on and so on. Okay, when I...
First of all, let's talk about
Jewish
together.
represent the investigation.
What?
Haaretz, they do separate opinion pages from
I
reporting.
don't care what they said.
I know, but someone said they don't separate, and they do.
Listen, I don't fucking care.
We haven't even looked at the paper, and you're criticizing it.
Differences, and I've seen a lot of
But they do separate. Let's just start with the basic facts. They separate opinion from facts.
I didn't say that they don't separate.
Okay, so they do.
I'm saying that they are propaganda.
So Charlie's killer has been caught. Some 22-year-old dweeb,
Okay,
some
but
theater
some
kid who
people that
managed to
you
kill
in
a
this
man
instance,
far
you're
greater than
trying
you could
to
ever.
paint pictures which is this is just done wrong. Okay, make them report dispassionately. You cannot gaslight
They
me because
aspire
when
to
you read
it. I wouldn't say
something-
it's perfect.
it's not even, listen, when you inspire to something, like, you should be at least like aspire, yeah, you should be at least somewhat close to it, but no, Alex is not close to it, The Guardian is not close to it, and why
Who is close to it? Ellie.
so I'm saying when I read Wall Street Journal, for example, it is much closer to it because they do not have a clear political meaning that I can detect usually. Okay? And this is just, it's a vibe test. If a paper doesn't pass the vibe test, so there's that propaganda. Like,
It's not a scientific
yes, it's not scientific.
Oh, vibe test? That's your subjective vibe test.
Yes, I'm not a scientist. Okay,
But I am, because I went to journalism school and I know the method.
No, a journalist is not a scientist. They are a
But we have a method, just like scientists do. And Ellie, who I think is a scientist, right, knows that there's a scientific method.
I'm a software engineer, and even that barely. But listen again, and listen.
And there's certain quality control, right? We have quality control in journalism too.
I do not
We have several layers of quality control.
Listen, I do
You
not.
want to hear about
I
that?
do not have. I don't care. Like, I do know.
Don't care, you don't want to learn.
No, it's not that I don't want to learn because you're missing my main point. Okay, I do not have, like, for example, in Israel, I do not have in particular party or political affiliation in Israel because my views do not align neatly with anyone in Israel. Usually, like on some, I would probably be labeled as an enemy by the same people that would mark you as one for many of the same reasons. For example, much before October 7, when I was trying to tell in Jewish rooms that people should stop banging the gavel on this whole anti-Semitism thing every time that someone criticizing Jews, I was kicked out of Jewish rooms, okay? Just a small example, okay? And I still stand behind that. I think it was the completely wrong thing to do in terms of, like...
Counterproductive, undermines actual understanding.
But listen, my reason is not because it's counterproductive. My reason is because...
What does it do? Doesn't that cheapen the word anti-Semitism? What does it do?
It doesn't cheapen anything. The problem is completely different. The problem is that the world is much like a schoolyard, okay? And people get bullied when they show some behaviors and some ways of like basically that show that they're vulnerable. So screaming anti-Semitism on the schoolyard where there are bullies, it just attracts the completely wrong type of attention.
Okay. So Ellie, so what do you feel what Buttercup's doing? You think that's good for the Jewish people?
It's better for the Jewish people. Mayor Bibi, who calls people.
By the way, it is.
No, you gotta answer this. Who's
He
worse
said
for
it's
Jewish
not
people?
good. He said it's not
Yeah,
good.
but who's worse, me or Bibi for Jewish people? Be honest.
You put me in the top by that. I would say probably Bibi, but I have to.
Bibi's worse for the Jewish people, right?
But say why. Say why.
Amos also thinks they're worse for the Jewish people. I think there's a consensus.
My reasoning would be completely different from what you think.
Exactly.
Because I think
I wanna know why.
on the playground where there are bullies, okay, and there are those some people, okay, are convinced by a charismatic behavior, so you kind of attract their attention and their respect, okay.
Me or Bibi, we're both charismatic.
No, I'm
talking about you.
Both of you are not. But I think putting yourself in a victim position is worse than being someone who's criticizing your own kind of group. You would attract much more fire, Buttercup, but Billy would degrade the respect of people who on the fence or not caring.
Okay, and which is worse, Bibi, right?
Yeah, but by the way, what you do in the same psychological aspect is that you elevate the spirits of the enemy. So
So what's worse?
Ellie.
Spirits of the
but the spirits of the enemy is not a huge factor for you actually. Because the enemy can have glee and they think that they're winning because they have those traitors inside their camp and blah blah blah, and they can be overconfident and that will just hurt them in the long run. But when you lose the kind of tacit support or respect of
but who's more credible, me or Bibi, when we criticize Hamas or violent resistance or the
I'm not after credibility.
The person who tells the truth or the person who spouts propaganda all the time?
I'm not for credibility. I'm for being successful on the schoolyard.
It's not. You don't think it's successful? When I brought my Palestinian friend on and to talk to other Palestinians, they agree with her that Hamas failed the people.
So what did that change?
Saying we want to bring moderate voices. This place is so polarized. It's good to have moderate voices to remind us that the vast majority of people are somewhere in the middle. This place is not reality. It's not real life.
We are in this place as a consensus for anything. This is not statistically valid. It represents a group of self-selected people who come onto the app. It doesn't represent a cross-section of anything. So,
but it doesn't, it's so polarized. Both sides are represented as these caricatures of themselves, and I don't think it's accurate of the human sample size. A real
right. But you just said before that there's a consensus that one was better than another. No, you can't draw a consensus from one person's opinion or even a couple people in Clubhouse's opinion. This is not statistically valid in any such.
And the truth is, Ellie, I would argue we're not trying to change. You agree that we're not really changing anyone's minds anyway.
Yes, you're doing you're doing mental masturbation and.
For me personally.
Yeah, but no, for me as well. I'm guilty.
You're not expecting to change anyone's minds, right? So why am I a threat to the Jewish people, like these Bibi Kapara said?
Because it's very uncomfortable. People in your camp undermining your positions. It's very.
Don't you think it makes Jews look good that some of us are moderates and all of us are fucking right-wing lunatics?
No, because they're not convincing anyone that needs to be convinced.
I mean, I think it reflects that not all of us are fascistic Bibi Kahana lunatics. And I think it's healthy. It's healthy to represent the spectrum of opinion in our community.
None of those people are persuadable. Buttercup.
I'm not trying to convince. I'm just trying to represent a full cross-section of our community, not just the crazy radicals.
I mean, it doesn't help. It does make Jews look bad
to have moderates among us.
Yeah, you're not a moderate, Buttercup.
What am I, Jason?
You're a left-wing extremist.
Okay,
absolutely.
That's not
You just don't want to hear the cold hard truth. But
okay. Thanks. Daniel, you want to speak? Do you have anything to say? Othello, what do you think? Am I a left-wing extremist?
You're asking somebody who hates Jews.
No, he doesn't.
I do think you throw around that word kahanist a little bit too much.
I say it tongue-in-cheek, and I've said
Well,
over
you
and over
shouldn't,
again.
because
I know that you and BB, we call it. Amos started it. Amos says you guys are kahanis, they're nukhba, the lefties.
Oh, just because he started it doesn't mean you need to pile.
Why? I think it's funny. It's funny on the side.
It's a known fact that people like BB, Rabbi, Harry, make Jews look so bad. They've been doing it for the past 3, 4, 5 years, and they don't give a fuck, right? I think Buttercup, when I see you, someone like you come on the app, I have hope for humanity, and I have hope because I know that there's a lot of Jews like you, like to treat Jews as a monolith,
like me.
Yeah, like Amos as well. You guys are a bridge to the rest of the world, so that we can have healthy dialogue and not push weird ass white supremacist, right-wing Jewish supremacist ideologies. And I appreciate you, Butter.
Thank you.
Really, you said thank you. Maybe you want to address it, Buttercup. So you think that the Jews that think differently than Buttercup and sometimes Amos are, what did you say? Supremacist, white, what can you say this again?
Jewish
White supremacists.
Jewish white supremacists.
This is why I say white supremacists, because you guys mod rooms and support people like Pepe, who say the N-word.
You guys.
And Charlie Kirk is a
Pepe is the catch-all for everything.
In Rabbi's rooms, right?
Who's Rabbi?
They say the N-word 50 times a room. And you guys are laughing in there.
Who's doing this?
Oh, you N-word. Oh, you N-word.
Who is
You know
doing
Rabbi?
this?
You know Rabbi?
Black
Alright,
Rabbi?
Fred, this is a Clubhouse live stream.
Rabbi.
Which Rabbi?
This
There's
is
so
put
many
on by a
rabbis
young girl
anyway.
named Buttercup. She's a journalist and an extreme left-wing
She's
liberal
not Jewish.
lunatic.
She's an anti-Semite.
He's not Jewish?
No, and Count My Shekels
No,
is an
it's
anti-Semitic trope. He's not Jewish.
He's a Jew hater that is basically cosplaying as a Jew.
Jews don't say Count My Shekels. It's an anti-Semitic
So you
stereotype.
spread hate about Jews, and you fell for it, dude.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine. You guys still mod rooms with Pepe.
So
Everything
There's
Pepe!
another one. What do you want for? So your claim that that we are nationalists, like the white supremacists, is because of Pepe and another.
you guys do
Jew
flirt with
hater.
them. You flirt with them.
No, you guys,
Daniel, the room does like to flirt with white supremacists.
And Buttercup threw right over her head. She was like, "I'm fine with
Yeah, you guys gotta hear this. They're talking about you guys. This is hilarious.
Calling like the rest of the 99% like white supremacists, whatever you call it. That's fine. For me, it seems that the source of information is one Jew hater and Pepe. None of them are Jewish.
No, Daniel, it is a problem that your room flirts with Jew haters.
What? You're flirting with terrorists.
No, I'm not.
What does it
No
mean?
one's a terrorist on
Yes,
this app. They're all American. Who's a terrorist? What are you talking about?
And we're flirting with who? Excuse me?
So the people that you champion, not you personally, but people in your room lionize, and your country.
Hold on.
Your country lionizes people like Charlie Kirk, who I believe is a white supremacist.
Yep, Issa.
So you people is who exactly?
Issa, Mister. You know when you're in those rooms with Issa and Mister, and you guys are just calling each other.
Who's Mister?
Yeah, you know who Mister is.
I don't know who that is.
You talking about Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
He's literally like he would support Hitler. He would take a gun and shoot Jews himself.
Okay, and
Those are your examples of why you hate Jews because of Jew haters. Dude, wow, man, listen, I have nothing here. I have nothing. I mean, dude.
There will not stop argument those two people. I just want you to make commercial.
You don't need a commercial break every 10 minutes, almost.
Yeah, exactly. Every 10 minutes you have to stop and, it's an argument between Othello and
Alright, this has been No One Cares. Keita Frank, I'm gonna create a new room.
days from now. They like to talk, they talk.
Everyone, go to Amos's room. He's waiting for you with tea and coffee.
And there is a cake, don't forget.
Cake.
Cake also.
Uga.
And I first, my guest in my room, I hope.
Keep doing your thing, Buttercup. Don't let these guys gaslight you. Keep doing your
Listen,
thing.
Daniel, I like talking to you because you're reasonable, but like a lot of the folks you share a room with, they are a little like fanatical and blind and reflexively just Israel. They fetishize Israel and it doesn't no one finds it convincing. It's not coherent. It doesn't make sense. You're a rational person. Doesn't it bother you that they do this?
No, it bothers me that you are taking one or two people and you're trying to use this as a wide brush. Doesn't matter. And and when I would say this, if I would say the same to you, I say, okay, so if you are with basically hanging out and chilling with people that would basically slaughter your family and are supporting Hamas, literally, not just like innuendos, like supporting and resistance.
Oh my God, look who it is, Donald, you're still alive! There must be a God! Praise God, you're alive, Donald! Praise God, you're alive, Donald! I thought fentanyl got you, brother!
Yeah, but I can
I thought fentanyl might have got you, Donald! Praise God, there must be a God if you're still alive, Donald! Ah, we're so lucky you're with us! God must be real! Donald, there must be a God! You're proof, Donald! You are proof! Living proof! Donald, that there is a God! Praise the great and glorious God! For Donald's still alive! I thought you were dead, Donald! I thought you weren't with us anymore, brother! But praise God, it's another miracle! From Charlie Kirk's assassination and his ashes rises Donald! Donald, you're alive! You're alive, dear Donald, my friend! You are alive, Donald! You're alive! Okay, Donald, I am complete. Thank you, Donald.
Whatever the long sentence is really So I'm here, and give me one name of one space that I created that you have a problem with, something that I did or said.
The spaces with Isa, right?
What's the problem with my spaces with Isa?
That is not a room that harbors Islamophobic and anti-black sentiments while you guys sit around.
You're talking about their room, not mine. This is the room that you are creating.
It doesn't matter.
Can I speak?
I just joined the house, Donald. Thank you so much for creating this room. I'd like to try to convince you that God exists. If I may have a couple of 60 seconds of your time.
Give me a screenshot from this room. Go.
Alright, Othello, in fairness.
Wanna bet that this is the concept of Jesus.
Okay, just listen, this is another clubhouse room. Ocean is a homosexual bookseller and loves talking about how he wants to get his ass rammed.
I would never mod with this fucking Mr. Robinson. He's a vermin, okay? So don't give me this shit.
So he disavowed his views, Othello. Let's move on from this, okay?
Okay.
I don't disavow, I thought he's not even a human, I don't want to talk about him, but you painting a brush on me because of people that are in a room with, it's disgusting, it's meant to be your
And I have to say, Othello, I've
if
not
you have a problem with people, take it with them, but to exploit them in order to spread hate about Jews, I had enough of it. And I'm here, and you keep on saying, you guys.
Last statement. This is my last statement.
So maybe don't make it.
I don't want to see you guys, the Jewish people on this app, mod rooms and celebrate people like Kitover, right? Who said 2 days ago, who asked Buttercup if she was hot enough to be raped on October 7th.
So, you know what? I would ask you guys, because I see a lot of black rooms, I would ask you guys to stop creating rooms against Jews. And I hear a lot of you guys, and I would ask, I don't know if you're an Islamist or Muslim, but I would ask you guys to also stop having rooms constantly all over Clubhouse, like spam about Jews. Just, do a routine of searching for the Israeli flag once in a while and see how many rooms are in Arabic obsessive about Israel, okay?
What do you think about
the
this
day
room?
that Charlie Kirk died, there were 4 rooms at the same time saying Israel did it, or Jews did it. at the same time.
I don't join.
So you guys need to stop this before you come to us and say anything. So we can both play to you guys. We can both play to you guys.
Now listen, I don't join any rooms about Jews. I join rooms about specific people in certain.
Mix that. I'm bringing you up because I want a different voice, but don't yell, okay?
From the river to the sea.
Mix that. Don't yell. Talk quietly. You want to say something?
Why'd you get rid of the other guy?
I didn't get rid of anyone. He got rid of himself. Migza, do you want to say something?
Thank goodness.
Yeah, Buttercup. Like, I have my own opinion about how you situate yourself in, let's say, Clubhouse. I don't think that you're taking, like, a particularly, well thought out position, so much as you're taking a position you feel provokes a different type of dialogue.
Okay. And do you think that's a net gain or net loss for the image of Jews in Israel in general?
Well, there's like a funny kind of a sports non sequitur that you can throw into anything, which is basically, well, let's see if it works out for him, right? I don't know. Maybe your approach is good for the Jewish people. My general sense is no. Most Jews seem to agree with me, but like, I don't know. Let's see if it works out. But mostly, like, my criticism of you is not your technique, your approach, your kind of emotional way to play into the discussion. It's more...
I actually don't have an agenda, by the way. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I'm just here to blow off.
I disagree, and it's really suspicious for anyone to claim they don't have an agenda. But regardless...
I don't believe I can change people's minds. I'm just here to blow steam and get some,
That's irrelevant. Your desire to change people's minds is irrelevant. What I'm saying is, my disdain for your position has nothing to do with the way you're feeling out, the way you want to talk. My problem is that it's stupid and dangerous, and that's how most people seem to be reacting to it.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
The roast of Buttercup!
I don't know, Daniel, do you find sort of this, I don't know if you hear this, I think there's a difference between the way Israelis talk about defend Israel and the way Americans defend Israel. Don't you think there's something a little crude and imbecilic about the way these sort of pro-Israel, rah cheerleaders from America, the way we speak about Israel is
okay,
like,
this is the roast of Buttercup.
Sliced bread,
We'll mix that so very delicately told her that she's stupid and dangerous.
And they're not realistic.
Oh my god, this is the roast of Buttercup. This is a Buttercup struggle session therapy room. Thanks for being here and good Shabbos.
You were talking about do no wrong, so I don't think you can confuse me. I been on the app and I've spoke to many Jewish Americans that are actually for Israel. Never ever, to be honest, and I'm completely honest, never have I heard anyone, not on the app, but also like on Twitter or like on social media, Israel can do no wrong. Never heard it. I'm completely honest. I heard you say it a few times actually.
I always heard you being like, even the dogs in Israel are amazing. The service is perfect. The trees are greener. You never hear
okay,
wax poetic about
Buttercup is
Israel?
exaggerating.
Literally,
Norm has said
I'm
something along the lines of what Buttercup said earlier, that Israel is the most moral army in the world. Never has the army had fewer casualties in XYZ situation. Some of these things are demonstratively untrue, and some of them are, the most moral army in the world. Okay, is it demonstratively untrue? No, but it's not demonstratively true. It's kind of an exaggeration.
Hold on.
Before we say though, Buttercup is right. Buttercup is right. This rings hollow to a lot of people. And it's not a good form of advocacy.
And also, I want to say that Norm did say, one second.
I'm in the middle of answering your question.
Let me finish. Okay. Norm did say he went into a shelter and none of the dogs barked, because even the dogs in Israel are amazing and so polite and perfect. He did say that, I swear.
Okay, so talking about calling the Israel the IDF the most moral army in the world, or talking about the casualty numbers, is not the same as Israel is doing no wrong. With one I can actually debate, and with the other I cannot, or like I cannot defend at least, or I don't agree with. But with the one we can kind of. I don't compare it to, like, to be honest, like in Berlin we don't have dogs, in New York, actually no, like, you know, in the streets, like at home, yes.
No, when there's bombings, do the dogs bark? Do they get stressed out like every other dog, or are they special?
And they don't get stressed out. Like the two dogs that I've been during alarms, like very, I guess they learn, you know, they maybe on the first time. But you know, it's not like every time they see how their family behaves, and they see that everything is in order. It's like, you know, when we hear the ring, you know that the family goes to this room. So no, they don't. They're not panicked because I guess it depends on the family. You know, if the family is starting to shout, and I don't think it's happening anymore, because it's, you know, it kind of became, you know, Pavlovic response. It started with dogs, and this is exactly what a siren is. You know, so. Yes, but I don't think it's because if you kind of look into it, you could understand things. And also, we talk about the moral army in the world. We can just talk about it, but just like to dismiss it is basically like what you are basically blaming him. You're basically blaming for him even saying it. It's so ridiculous, and you're just dismissing it. I could see as just as ridiculous. Yes, at least you can have a conversation. But in any case, none of them, you just mentioned normal, but she actually said that Jews are having this idea or this emotion or this notion or this, they say it, that Israel cannot do wrong. And this sentiment, I did not personally feel with all my discussion with many American Jews. This is my point, that's it. So if she exaggerated, I think that
this is what I hear, and you hear something else. So we have a very different takeaway from these rooms.
Yes, but what you hear is not what they're saying. And when you present to me, and you want to have a debate,
I present an internal dialogue that's happening in the Jewish community,
so
and they call me a capo.
In my world, yes, in my world, you know, I'm not having a discussion about your world, okay? If you're saying that this is what they said.
I go into your rooms and I present normal things that are happening in Israeli discourse, and they call me a capo.
He literally said it. He literally said it. And
Israel cannot. No, but you said he didn't say it.
He said Israel has the most moral army in the world. Okay, and this is the kind of thing. Buttercup is not dismissing it. She's saying it's bad.
No, you're dismissing it.
I'm not dismissing it either. I'm saying it's bad advocacy. I'm saying it rings hollow. She did indeed say that. Yes.
I'm having a discussion with like a two-head monster. She's saying cannot do no wrong.
Well,
and then you're answering with me about
this is America's world.
But this is a different argument.
And I'm saying it rings hollow. It's bad advocacy.
Jason, can you wait? I cannot have two conversations at the same time. When I'm answering Buttercup, you're answering me about a different conversation. With Buttercup, the conversation is about Israel cannot do wrong. And you're answering me as if I'm answering to the most moral army in the world. You need to choose, like, what are we talking about? Her claim is not your claim. It's not the same conversation.
She made a range of points.
So anyway. She didn't say any of it.
All right, let's get to the substance. Move on.
It's really hard because
you feel so you're good at multitasking. Try to talk to both of us.
No, come on. You asked
a question. It's like chaotic room. There's like two people in here. Just respond to me and that's
it. It's chaotic.
Start with me.
There was a question at the beginning, and I already forgot it. Like, you know,
whether or not Israel can do no wrong, or whether or not Israel has...
No. I think what I said, I'll repeat it. I think
this I remember.
In your rooms, I try to present arguments. No, in the rooms. In the rooms.
This is my room right now.
No, and you,
No,
I associate you with Bibi Kapara and Harry and Norm and all those
Okay,
folks. You're always with them backing
in
them up.
your world, I understand. I always need to understand that we're not talking about reality. We're talking
Right now
about
we're talking
along
about
with
Clubhouse and the effective dialogue, right? Where I walk into the Bibi Kapara houses, which you're obviously in his corner most of the time, pretty much all the time. With Harry, with Norm.
I need to stop you. Okay? There is one Jewish room usually. Okay? We used to have back then. It was with the mayor at Make Awareness Great Again. It's no longer there. There was the times that there was like Jeff, like it's not like you're there. Okay? This is what we have. Okay? This is what we have. One. And you see also that many times when you open a room, a lot of people shift to you. They're not like, we're not like, it's like it's Clubhouse. It's not like in many rooms, like 2 rooms, maybe 1. Come on, stop making a big story of nothing.
The Jewish room is clothing optional
Things they
coffee.
say, Danielle.
That's what the Jewish room is, clothing optional coffee.
Okay.
This is another one, yes, but yes, this is more like a casual, kind of like more friendly. This is basically like, this is more like friendly group, okay? So people there are friends, they're hanging out as friends. Yes, this is clothing optional.
No, it's not just
Daniel, I really.
Because in
Pulling your leg already.
Jews and Jews.
God, you guys, it's like Nuremberg trials up here.
Listen, Danielle.
Natural law commands, following orders is no
I think
defense.
I'm exaggerating in order to kind of make like weird claims.
No, Daniel, I came on here to have a dialogue with my people, okay? I know you think I'm interested in just engaging within your room. I came here specifically because I want to talk to my people. I don't get to talk to a lot of Jews about this.
And you say,
It's not a topic I could talk about in polite company where I live, so I really enjoy it, and that's why I talk to you guys, but I get so much abuse there that I don't get in the other room. And I'm not saying that you represent all their views, but I'm just saying.
But you know that you're.
But all I'm doing is representing views that you know Israelis have too. You know?
Yes. Listen, but you are on an audio app, okay? And people are using their voice, and you know that you say things in order sometimes to provoke. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, did you get the attention? Okay, you came to Clubhouse like a month ago. You're getting attention. You're opening room. You have confidence. Like, and yes, and you're the victim. But yes, the victim is the cow. Then you see, I don't know how many people are here right now. I mean, come on. How much is this? Like,
you want to talk to your Devin? Devin in the chat says he wants to be brought up, and he's kind of implying that you don't bring him up. So
because he's annoying, but I'll bring him up if you really want
he's
to.
Annoying. Like
he is a little
Devin, no, he's not.
All right, Devin, you want to come up? Where's Devin? All right, come on up, but just make your points.
Just I'm muting with my headphones because every time something is in the app, every time that I mute on the app, it kind of silences it for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
Daniel, is your PTR making fun of Buttercup?
Yeah, listen, I don't mind that you guys.
It's not making fun. It's maybe like, when she say like how it is in her mind. So in my mind, she's using the David shield.
If there's one of me going around with Hitler, I'd rather Daniel's than the Hitler one.
It's more like a representation. It's more like a caricature to represent like a story. I mean,
how I see myself.
Oh, I mean, that would make for a really great story. Like if you imagined a tiny little cartoon girl in Israeli. No. Slow down. Let me unpack it.
So I can't tell if I'm leading an army of Hamasniks or if I'm fighting an army of Hamasniks.
You're leading them. You're obviously leading them. They're in front of you.
No. She's not leading them. This is a shield.
Yeah.
She's defending them.
She's defending them, exactly.
She's running the Jewish people.
She's using come on.
This is high art, Daniel. It's high art.
She's using Judaism as a shield, okay? She's putting herself as a shield.
Okay, but
PTR is Buttercup defending Hamas. Is this real, Dave?
Yeah, she's defending Hamas.
Defending, not fighting. She's a lover. She's a lover, not a fighter.
She's a defender. She's a defender of
There's like a sea now of parodies. I gotta say, like, imitation's the best form of flattery. So.
And you love it, right? Exactly.
It's very bad. I'm becoming a narcissist because of you guys.
Press is better than no press.
Well, yeah, you're not handling the technology of the app very well.
part of it is that you didn't use that your own face, so it made it kind of more like I wouldn't do it probably if it was your face, like your real face. But you know,
I don't mind it. I think it's cute.
You're building a
I think
character.
yours is my favorite, Danielle. Yours is my favorite.
Daniel, that's
Where
very
did
cool.
I like that with
Very
Daniel.
artistic.
You're very prickly.
Thank you.
Was that
Daniel's art is also layered.
No,
you know,
I
there's
do
interpretation.
it, Jacob.
You're good? Wow, I didn't know you.
No, come on, I did your like. Oh, come on, no, of course AI.
No, I don't know. You
No,
could be an artist in hiding.
AI.
But how did you
But you know, just so you know, like
hair right in the band? Like,
I'm just gonna tell you like a hack, okay? You cannot tell him to put like a Hamas headband, okay?
right.
I had to tell him a story that that she's defending them and they're wearing a green headband, like the color of her eyes, and to put like a bit like of white Arabic gibberish on them.
you got it. I didn't even trick AI that way.
PR? Did you upload your PR? Like, how did you get that face?
I'll tell you, the effort you put into the AI generation of humans really shines through.
Exactly.
I
see you a reference.
I'm gonna try to do it because I asked ChatGPT to generate an image of Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls with a Star of David shield with the IDF behind him.
Right,
It said I can't help doing that.
No, he would have to have a sword. He'd have to have a sword to complete the narrative.
I'm gonna try to create a narrative and get that image.
Yeah, she's a superhero.
Like, he can throw like a Jewish star, like
I'm too old.
A 6-pointed star.
Exactly.
No, because it wasn't like anything bad. She's like, she's defending them. She's a superhero. She has a shield, you know.
This narrative totally works, and it'll explain the whole conflict.
Okay, I want to hear from Beatrice, because Beatrice is from Amir's room. I know her from there.
What about
And-
Devin? You brought him up first.
No, I'll hear from Devin after, but Beatrice
Benny
and
Adam is
Beatrice.
working on the project.
I'm going to show Beatrice because you guys.
I know.
Because the premise here is that me having this nuanced view where I'm critical of Israel, but I also have deep affection for my Jewish people. They're saying it's bad for the overall. It's worse for the Jewish people than what the propagandists in Bibi Kapara's room do, where they just lie and deny and sugarcoat and fetishize Israel all day. So I'm curious, as an outsider who spends a lot of time in Amir's room, do you feel like what I'm doing is how does it shape the way you see Jewish people, Israel, the Jewish state? Beatrix, I'm curious of your view.
So, I think you remember Buttercup, they were kind of like attacking you and calling you a Zionist, and I stood up for you and said, like, look, she might not understand certain things about Islam, but I don't get to really clarify my views a lot either. Like, the thing is, you don't even have to like Muslims, Buttercup. Like, you don't even have to really even like the Palestinians. You know,
I do. I have no problem.
I know. I'm not saying you don't. But I'm saying the way that they were kind of attacking you, because I told them, I was like, look, she was raised Jewish. She's not raised a Muslim. Why are you guys expecting her to know anything about Islam? When I was growing up, I didn't know anything about Islam. You know, like it's not really relevant to what we're talking about. And I know that you're older than me. You have a lot more experience than I do. You have a lot more knowledge than I do. You really don't need me to defend you. But the reason why I did is because, first off, you have a stronger voice than I do because you are Jewish, and you can, because, like, look, my parents are Zionists. My parents are never going to listen to me because they don't see me as one of them. But the thing is, I don't want to see radicalism on either side. I don't like when people talk crap about Jews and say they're evil and they're this and they're that. And it's actually frustrating getting called anti-Semitic because I do like Jewish people and I don't want Jewish people to be attacked. I don't want anybody to go on a subway and attack a Jewish woman and her kids or a man, or, you know what I'm saying? I've never felt that way about Jewish people, and I don't want to see them attacked, and I don't want to see them ostracized. And so I don't want radicalism on either side. And I think that's something that's really important about you, because it almost seems like you get attacked from both sides, and it's kind of just like, well, you should be able to speak freely without being ostracized because it's
just for having a nuanced view. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way more dangerous, and it's not like we agree on everything.
And who's more credible? Like, who sounds more credible, me or Bibi Kapara, who's just like, wow, they invented cherry tomatoes and they have the most
you're a big person that will sound more credible. And you're using the word nuance, which I find very interesting. Nuance is actually
point of view. It's not credible.
Yeah, exactly. Not nuance also. Nuance is more like actually it's the opposite of nuanced a bit.
I'm critical of Israeli leadership and Palestinian leadership. I think both of them failed their people. What do you mean? That's nuanced. That's right in the middle.
I think that you are coming with a specific agenda that is not about.
I think both people deserve better leadership. How is that attacking anyone? I'm defending both people.
But it's not nuanced, okay? It's just your view. All right, nuanced is a word that should be. Women should not be allowed to use the word nuanced anymore. It should be illegal. No women use it.
I think you are more credible because, given your position, you're not biased. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a bias. You're bringing into consideration perspectives from both sides, so you will always be more credible.
I'm also coming from a humanist perspective instead of a tribal perspective, which other people tend to come from.
And that's why Malika thinks that she has a superior point of view. Humanistic, both sides. I don't know, she was born Muslim, so.
I'm for the people against governments. I hate power. Power needs to be able to account to Daniel.
This is not what's different. None of this is what really differentiates us from us, okay? I think actually we could even argue the opposite. This is not the thing that
It's the thing you guessed. Everyone that argues with you.
But we agree with you. I mean,
Daniel, you agree with me. That's not what Bibi Kapara thinks.
No.
You agree.
No. I never heard that you had a discussion about it. But also, power corrupts is also not a nuanced point of view. And I don't think it's such a unique. And also,
it shouldn't be.
You choose everyone of arguing against attitudes.
Children and like innocent civilians should die is also like not nuanced and not so unique to you. And not so unique to you.
Thank you.
No, we all agree to this.
So why are you calling me a radical?
Why? No, because this is not your point of view. This is not what differentiates you.
You're not presenting the things people consider radical about your views right now.
This is not what is radical.
And more importantly, I think everyone's opinion is unique. It's an opinion, it's not fact. But
mine isn't.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But to say that it almost comes across as you're superior to Bibi, and the reality is that, no, you're not.
No, that's not. Yaakov, he claims I'm bad for. I'm a threat to the Jewish people and their safety.
And you're saying he's worse. Like literally, you're
right. So that's what the showdown is. He's worse.
But what if you guys are both wrong about that?
Amos and Ellie thinks that he's worse.
I agree. We're both wrong.
The BB is definitely worse.
But I receive a lot more abuse than BB. I'm abused constantly on this app.
Okay.
I'm threatened by the pro-Israel. They threaten to dox me. They threaten to.
Oh, maybe they don't like you.
Drown me.
Why don't you zoom out and think about Israel as part of a system, an American system of how the world works, and ask yourself what's good for America, Buttercup.
Right.
Ask yourself.
So, Jason, I assume you think that Israel's good for America overall.
Israel is good for America, yeah. And I hope someday Saudi Arabia and Egypt will be good for America too, like Qatar, with Israel's help.
So I think America has certain laws about how its bombs are used, and I think Israel has violated those standards over and over and over again. And we have an obligation to do something about it because that's what our laws dictate, right? We have to hold ourselves to certain standards.
Who said that there was violation?
What does that have to do with? Whoa! So what does that have to do with?
No, they use the usage of 3,000 pound bombs in densely populated area is a violation of our standards.
I agree. Wonderful. So what? Therefore what?
Wait, you agreed, Yaakov? So as Americans...
I'm agreeing with you, therefore what?
It's gross, the Leahy laws refer to gross violations of human rights.
Dropping a 3,000 pound bomb in a densely populated area is a gross violation of human rights.
The maximum is...
There was no military justification for it.
How do you know?
Okay, wait.
How do you know?
3,000 pound bombs wipe out a whole block, a populated block.
Wonderful.
Hey, they
used a bomb and they broke a regulation. That's what you're saying? They used a bomb, we sold them,
They
and they didn't
constantly
use...
break regulations with our bombs.
Okay,
and that's
they constantly That's wonderful. They
That's my
constantly
tax
break
dollars.
regulations.
Of course I should care.
That feels like a problem that we Americans should leverage in diplomatic channels, no?
Yes, and we're trying.
So what does that have to do
So
with
whenever
whether or
that
not
happens, the Israelis...
Whoa, hey, slow down. What does that have to do with the question we were discussing? Is Israel good for America?
Israel's not good for America if it's
Why
using
not?
our bonds to commit war crimes.
Who cares? We'll just leverage that in diplomacy, as you just said.
Well, no,
I'm saying you would prefer a greater Syria, perhaps? A larger Egypt? Perhaps Jordan? Is that what we should interact with?
Buttercup, one thing they're asking you to do is consider the alternative. The alternative is that Israel, the choices are not Israel is perfectly nice or Israel does bad things. The alternatives include things like Israel loses and the other forces in that region are more powerful and they're worse for America than Israel, okay? But I also think that's a very big if. Israel is using American weaponry to commit war crimes. The standard that people use when they ascribe war crimes to Israel is very loose and imperfect. And there are a lot of details there. And I don't think what you've said...
Jason, you think Israel has committed no war crimes? Is that what you're suggesting?
What you've described in this case does not add up to a war crime, okay? Using a heavy bomb to destroy a building is not illegal.
No, numerous dumb bombs.
Using numerous heavy bombs to destroy a building is not illegal.
They've dropped more bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's not a densely populated area of mostly kids.
Hold on. There are real facts to talk about here. Buttercup, how many people died when that bomb was dropped?
I don't remember. I don't know.
It's like 100,000 people, okay? So this is kind of a clue that what Israel is doing is a lot more surgical and precise and measured than carpet bombing.
That was one bomb.
Then destroying city. Well, the firebombings also killed hundreds of thousands of people.
Jason, it seems like you've been following the conflict a long time. As you know, whenever there's a war, Israel tends, as a matter of policy, they tend to react emotionally to every provocation, and they overreact. And so the only thing that restrains them at the end, the only thing that curbs the war at the end, is pressure from Western powers, right? Historically, it's always been America that restrains Israel. And they say no more, and they say use restraints, otherwise Israel doesn't use restraints, right? And so really, without an American government that restrains Israel, things are going to be excessive, and things are provide a huge liability for both America and for Israel, because we don't have the normal checks and balances, which is the U.S. in its ear saying time to use restraint, time to wrap things up, time to stop. And so this is the biggest danger for both our country and their country.
No, Buttercup. I would say that the biggest danger is America telling Israel to stop.
Israel has always told Israel to stop. Every war is stopped because America is in its ear.
America needs to stop doing it.
America needs to use its leverage to control and out of control.
I'm going to explain why, Buttercup, and you need to listen to why, okay? Because if you don't actually defeat the enemies, there is not peace.
The Israeli military establishment thinks the enemy's been defeated. They've accomplished everything they can accomplish, and they're just killing more of their own soldiers now.
It makes no sense ending or winning wars is not a decision.
Well, numerous top Israeli generals disagree with you, Jason.
It does not matter. That is not a decision that they get to make in any country, because they are subject to civilian authority, and military activity is an extension of political activity by other means. Okay, that's the Clausewitzian rule there. And in America also, they didn't want to drop the atomic bomb. In America, we didn't want to go for total victory in the Second World War. That was a political direction and requirement. And the reason generals don't make those decisions is because ultimately these things have to be decided on what's good for the country by civilian authorities, not by military authorities who are kind of technician. Okay, so they are allowed to have their own opinion, but that doesn't make it right, and you can't quote it like it's the correct one, and the civilian authority's opinion is the wrong one. There's a reason that the civilian authorities are the leaders, and the military authorities are not. And that's why I think that we have made a big mistake preventing Israel being able to pursue these conflicts to the end and actually achieve victory over their enemies, total victory, and force them to surrender. That is the only way that the Second World War could have ended.
Jason, I want to address something you said about civilians. The civilians in Israel feel that the current government is not representing them, and that the current leadership is deeply compromised by factions in its government that is extorting it. Only the vast majority, according to surveys.
Okay.
Randy, post survey. Let me post a survey in the chat.
You want to represent the minority that is not
from right wing
that has nothing to do with the prosecution of the war and the civilian authorities, civilians generally, are the ones who have access to all the intelligence and information from the military they need, and B, they're the ones who are entrusted with the interests of the civilian society, who are civilians, who are part of the civilian society and know what's going on there, which the generals don't, by and large. And that's why they make this decision in times of war. And in times of war, yes, you have this, great, I guess you could say, restriction or narrowing of people's freedom and autonomy or their ability to influence outcomes for the country. But that's true in every country, and it's because war is extremely dangerous. And what I disagree with you fundamentally about, Buttercup, is that the U.S. should not be telling Israel to knock off their war and not achieve total victory. And we have done it over and over again.
So total victory is a vague, not quantifiable goal, and the purpose of it is to be a foil for Netanyahu so that he can continue the war for his own political interests.
No, it is not. It is not.
That's what the Israeli people think. It's not me, Jason. You should talk to some Israelis. That's what they're talking about. Okay,
I'm talking about something that
it's the removal of Hamas. That is
Hamas is already completely devastated.
It's not removed.
It is very simple.
They have offered to step down. That's the same thing.
It's very simple.
They've already offered to step down.
On their terms.
Guys,
no, you're misrepresenting.
You're it's called surrender, silly. On their terms means they're surrender.
No, it's not going to happen the first day. They want to fuck around.
So this is when you say total victory, it's so vague.
This is tequila.
No, it's not.
It's
not vague. It's been
They have offered to step down, and yet Bibi Netanyahu uses this total victory phrase as a foil so that he doesn't have to end the war.
No, he doesn't. He's referencing the same framework.
The hard objective is to destroy Hamas and to free the hostages. He's neither because of his total victory slogan. He uses it as a foil. Anything they offer is not total victory in his book. He finds a new goalpost.
Unconditional surrender is total victory, and they need to
show up with all your weapons and say sorry.
Surrender is a way to ensure the war continues forever. You sound just like Netanyahu.
It is how the war ends.
No trading hostages. What do you mean by unconditional?
Unconditional surrender means that Hamas has no conditions and surrenders.
Okay. I'm not the only one who
talking.
Not the only way.
That is how World War II ended.
It's not pragmatic, Jason. It's not realistic. We need to be realistic to be pragmatic.
Buttercup, I'm trying to tell you that it's the
a La Land
option.
Like any enemy is just going to be like, no conditions, here's my gun, no conditions.
That is how.
Your enemy does that.
No, that's not true. That's certainly what you
That's not even what Israel's government is demanding, Jason. You're really out of touch. Israeli government is not demanding unconditional surrender, okay? Jason, it's okay.
Hand in your weapons.
That's not the war goal, silly. That's not what the Israeli government is demanding.
End of Hamas, destruction of Hamas, and return of the hostages.
He's talking about total victory.
Yeah, but Jason says the unconditional surrender is not what the Israeli government is demanding.
That's what total victory is.
That would be giving over your weapons.
Right, Jason, exactly. You're asking for something unrealistic so that the war never ends. Exactly what I'm talking about.
Destroying, dismantling, removing Hamas.
Guys, be quiet for a second. Buttercup, you keep calling it unrealistic, but it's not unrealistic. It is the realistic way to end conflicts of this nature.
Yeah.
And that's how they have ended. Stop for a second. That is how they have ended in the past. So why are you calling it unrealistic? It's how World War II ended. Both Germany and Japan unconditionally surrendered. So what is so unrealistic about this, Buttercup?
So I think I was it's pretty clear the Israeli government has never said that unconditional surrender is one of their requirements to end the war into a hostage deal. This is something you made up, Jason. And when Netanyahu talks about total victory, that's not unfolding either. Total victory is not
You guys are falling apart here.
Total victory is not
falling apart here.
Surrender is always an option in war. It's always we don't need to say it. Of course, it's an option. We don't need to like.
Jason says it's the only option.
If they were,
no, I did not say it's the only option.
Today,
okay, let's
end it today. Otherwise, we continue to do it with the force.
He says that's what total victory that Netanyahu talks about means.
I did not say it is the only option.
That's how you define total victory.
Please stop. You said total victory is vague. I said no, it's not. There is a clear story for that. Okay, unconditional surrender is total victory. Now the other
Daniel will tell you it's unrealistic. So if that's your goal, then you're trying to.
But that's the thing I'm asking you about. That's the thing I'm asking about.
But every top Israeli official and resident disagrees with you and thinks that's unrealistic. So when Netanyahu says that, he wants to extend the war.
Well, but you're not really answering my question. You're not really answering my question. What makes you think it is unrealistic?
Ask Daniel. Daniel will explain to you why.
No, I'm asking you, Buttercup. I'm asking you, Buttercup. Why? What makes you?
I'm not Israeli. Daniel's Israeli. He'll explain to you why that's a dumb fucking thing.
Buttercup, but you told it to me. You said.
Because I'm representing what Daniel said to me, okay? And he's Israeli, and he knows what the discourse is. You clearly
someone told you, someone you trust.
It sounds like you don't follow discourse in Israel, honestly.
Someone you trust. Yeah, someone you trust said that.
No, it's because I follow news in Israel in Hebrew, so I know what's happening. Okay. No one is demanding that except you, just Jason from Pennsylvania or wherever you're from.
You're saying it's unrealistic.
Jason from Pennsylvania is fucking irrelevant, okay?
I don't understand what is unrealistic about unconditional surrender.
There's never been a demand of the Israeli government, not once. And if you followed the discourse in Israel, you would know that, Jason.
What's unreal? It has nothing to do with whether it's realistic or not.
No one's made that demand except for you.
You said it's unrealistic.
That's not how wars end in Israel. You haven't been following the conflict.
Wars don't end in Israel because the U.S. tells Israel to accept ceasefires. That's why they don't end.
Israel has put pressure on it, and that's how every war has ended, by the way.
Which the U.S. needs to stop doing. That's what we're disagreeing about.
Jason, you also completely misrepresented Netanyahu's position, so I don't think you can have an informed conversation anymore. Because you literally don't understand what's at stake.
You are just trying to shut me up.
Fundamentally don't understand what's at stake.
I disagree with you. Because I disagree with you, all right?
Because you're uninformed. You don't follow the discourse.
I don't think you're following the discourse about war, Buttercup.
It seems like you generally follow the politics of Israel as it develops. But the question is, do you trust the Israeli democratic system to determine its own leaders and direction for its war from its civilian leaders?
Ask that again.
Do you trust Israel to follow through on their democratic constitutional plan?
Democratic, which one? Their goal is to...
The one that forms the Knesset.
Yeah, of course.
So, do you believe that they are having your thoughts expressed, to each other in the way that matters, and their discourses covering that?
Yes.
So then you would say it is important to preserve their ability to safely and freely discuss their views openly and express their political
100%.
opinions.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why that's where it gets confusing, because you express their most hostile political views, the ones, and you express them in opposition to the state from outside of the state, when at the same time you're obviously grateful for the state they have, which allows them to have their heated political discourse. Do you see my confusion?
You're talking about why the U.S. shouldn't pressure Israel one way or the other?
No.
Okay. So how am I controlling the discourse? I was spaced out for a bit. What?
Yeah. Exactly.
You want to repeat your question in a short version?
Right. That's a fair point. Shorter version of the question. It seems like you trust the Israeli democratic process but at the same time encourage those that would remove that process.
Oh, you mean my idea for the binational state sometime in the future?
Sure, change the current political system and the
regime
current
change.
rights
Yeah,
that the people have.
So I think a lot of Israelis, as you can see from the streets of Israel, don't think the current system is working for them, and they don't think it's sustainable.
Surely they can represent their own political views.
I know, and I allow them to, and I support them, and I think that's
wonderful. What do you mean you allow them to?
I think it's beautiful. I love to watch it. I love to see it.
There's something strangely patronizing about your approach to their
Well, we're all watching this show, this bad horror movie, and I like what's happening on the ground in Israel.
Bad horror movie. Right?
It moves me as a Jewish American to see them advocating for their democracy and for the health of their democracy and their state. That is beautiful to me as someone who's covered politics for many years and has written about political corruption for many years. I think there's nothing more beautiful than someone puncturing political corruption in the way Haaretz does, and the way the protesters do, and the way human rights organizations do. I think that's moving. It moves me to tears. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's what I love about Israel, okay? That they have a democracy. There is a fragile, but democracy is still there, and the people there are speaking up. That's what's beautiful about Israel.
And you deem it as failing.
What? The state?
The democracy, yes.
The current structures in place are not serving the people well, no. Because we have extreme political corruption on top, and we have a prime minister running a war that's deeply, deeply compromised from the far-right extremist factions of his government, because they extort him every time there's a chance to rescue the hostages, which defeats the morale of the Israeli people, the safety of the Israeli people, the confidence in their government. This is not serving Israeli democracy, and if you understood how governments work, you would get that.
I absolutely understand how governments work, but that's why I keep questioning. Surely you concede all of the angles you've looked at the conflict, the Israelis are looking at as well, correct?
100%. I'm representing discourse in the Israeli public.
Right, but shouldn't they be having that discourse amongst each other?
They're literally having it.
Why is that discourse relevant outside of Israel?
Why is anything? One, for Americans in particular, we supply bombs for this war, and so we are responsible for how they're used. And my tax dollars pay for those bombs, and I have a say. But number two, for me, as a Jewish person, as a Jewish American, which you are too, our identities, to be Jewish in America, our identities, like it or not, whether it's positive or negative, have over the years become enmeshed with the Israeli state's well-being and what the Israeli state stands for. So it's hard not to have an emotional response to what we see happening there. When people die, when our people die en masse, it affects us, right? We feel it, even if we're not there. Well, I do. I don't know about you. And so if I think the state is causing the mass death of my people, yeah, that's really emotional for me. And I also have family there, by the way. So my family is personally affected.
So if I could
listen, my family lives in the South. If my sister's kids get kidnapped, now we have a government that will let them die, okay? This is not a country that I want my sister to live in. And she's stuck there. She's married to an Israeli. Her kids speak Hebrew. And this is the predicament she finds herself in. For her loyalty to the country, this is how they repay her. That if her kids get kidnapped, they say, let the hostages drop dead, we'll just bomb the negotiators. That's the country she lives in now. What does that do for the Israeli morale? What kind of democracy, what kind of Jewish refuge treats its citizens that way?
Okay, so if I understand, you have two basic reasons. One, more emotional, that you have family there and you're concerned about the direction of the guidance of the state of Israel. And two, you're an American and your political power and voice is directed towards American action, which includes weapons which are utilized in Israel. So you're activating your political voice in parroting political discourse from the state of Israel, which is protected by its constitution and laws. Correct?
Sure.
Just seems like you should primarily protect the constitution, nation, and laws more than anything. I would think.
Israel's not my job to protect it. I just have strong opinions about the way Israel's handling this war, given that its leadership is deeply compromised. Are you concerned that its leadership is compromised?
As an American citizen who has concerns about the actions of Israel abroad, and as a Jew that lives in America, would you want to encourage, let's say you were in the CIA, right? Would you want a regime shift in Israel under your managing?
No one's calling for an immediate. Listen, Israeli people are fighting for new leadership. They're fighting for an end to war.
Yes or no?
It's not my job to overthrow the government.
I know, but I'm saying if I gave you the job, I said you're CIA director.
I don't have the power to overthrow any
ties to Syria or
not even my own, not Israel's. I don't have power to overthrow any governments.
I know, but like, listen, you just said you have an opinion. You're voicing your political power right now as an American to prevent the sale of weapons to be used in an illegal genocide.
And prevent my nephews and nieces from being kidnapped and left in captivity.
What?
And I also believe in general in the idea of a Jewish refuge, a state that's sustainable that doesn't result in bloodbath every couple years. That's what I believe. That's my deeply held belief.
That's wonderful. The CIA says that stuff all the time before they kill somebody.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about anymore. I'm not
CIA. That's what I gave you. I gave the CIA powers to topple
I said we need a new model that's sustainable.
Remember, like Iraq and Saddam Hussein?
I'm advocating for a model that is more sustainable, and I think if you love Israel and you love its people, you should also advocate for that.
Just to be clear, the model you're advocating, which is more sustainable, involves the dismantling of the current functional model.
I don't think it's functional. October 7th is not functional. It's not okay.
Okay, October 7th was not functional, sure, but like you're saying, the management of the war...
No, it's been escalatory violence for 70 years. It's not working, dude. It's not working.
The entire state has failed.
We need a new state that's it doesn't have to be completely new.
A new state. What guarantees your new state won't also fall into 70 years of war? How will your state solve it?
Just one question. What is the metric for you saying that they failed or success? Like, what is the metric that you're using?
Whether she's happy or not.
No,
look at that.
My family lives in the South, okay? My family experiences sirens. That's not sustainable.
Buttercup doesn't feel comfortable.
It's not sustainable for my sister and her kids and their bunny rabbit to constantly be under threat of violence.
Buttercup. So, so the United States is also not sustainable, right? People are under threat of gun violence.
Yeah, that's not sustainable either. We need to redo our laws, 100%.
Which country is sustainable in your eyes? And then the ones that you just don't know anything about?
Well, I think both of Israel and America had democracies that turned out to be way more fragile than we thought.
Which are sustainable?
I'm talking about democracy.
Which democracy?
Okay, so in Scandinavia we have some good models, but I'm not going to list all the good countries versus the bad countries. Unfortunately, in today's era, a lot of democracies have been hijacked.
I understand. So Scandinavia is the model, right?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to dissect different government forms. There's pros and cons to each form.
I understand. I want to understand what forces are working on Scandinavia. So
well, Daniel,
let's actually talk about America versus Israel. America has a constitution.
With the German model or the British?
Scandinavia, for example, you were talking about the government of Scandinavia. Okay, there's the government. What other forces impact Scandinavia?
That's not one country, though. There's different countries within it.
Yeah, but the government. Okay, so
you want to pick a democracy to dissect Buttercup?
Yeah. Choose a democracy that you want to compare us to.
Very well.
Actually, I want to walk that back. I want to compare it to American, because American's a little bit more robust as a democracy than Israel is. So
no, but you also said America is not sustainable. So
it is sliding into an unsustainable thing because we have someone who's
is sustainable.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the U.S. so far is holding up the democracy because there are certain protections.
But we wanna save the
shut down undemocratic things.
Our thing is not sustainable.
Your courts are being weakened. Our courts still are standing up.
But I want to go learn from those who did it. Okay, I want to learn what they did.
We did do it. I take that back. America has courts are strong enough to resist the worst impulses of our fascist.
People are dying there on the streets. People are being shot just for speaking. It's unsustainable. I would be afraid to just walk in some areas in the United States. Like I see videos of people driving on the streets.
Right.
I see the crimes, the gangs. You know how many school shootings there are? We don't have that shit.
You don't have that shit around the world. It's because of
it's
Okay, so exactly like America without the gun protection.
You got to rewrite the Constitution. Constitution buttercup, like you said.
comparing to Israel without conflict.
You can't just erase the conflict. It's foundational to its founding.
You cannot just say we have a constitution and then like, okay, let's just ignore the constitution.
Yeah, we need to
Buttercup wants to ignore your constitution. She doesn't care.
Israel doesn't have a constitution, silly. No, they don't. They don't have a constitution.
You said like it's something like powerful about you. Okay, so Second Amendment, you know, it has its price, and you have things that doesn't happen nowhere in the world, and it's not sustainable. You send your kid, you go to like fucking a rally, and you speak in front of thousands in a university, and you get shot. Like it's insane. People are getting just like shot in the like when they like,
all because of a stupid constitution we won't get rid of.
Yes, exactly. And it's your government, the corrupt governments that are just benefiting off it.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And military and army and guns and manufacturing and a lot of money. And so let's start now talk shit about America.
No, you're right. You're right, actually. I want to concede a point. Let me concede a point.
Amazing. So where are we comparing us to?
So I think you're right.
Hello?
This era has taught us a lot about how fragile democracy and how it doesn't withhold, it can't stand up to fascists and dictators. But you know what? We're learning from it, and that doesn't mean we shouldn't be in the streets demanding that the people's interests are represented above these like selfish, fascistic.
The system is not the democracy.
It's not holding up, but we need to still fight. We need to use whatever things we have. Which
yes,
is
but
do you have a functional system we can compare it to?
Yeah, it's like crying, like wah, wah. It's not really helpful. It's actually making things
That's
worse.
what democracy is.
Listen, in her opinion, America is
free speech is key to that, Danielle. It's all we have. The Arends, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, protesting is all we have. It's all we have.
Yes, it's bitching. Do you have a solution? Do you have a better proposal? Do you have like something that I ask you for a country that you think the model? Give me a model, like an example model that we will see that okay, it works there. You say that this is failing, this is not sustainable. I want to see according to your, because if you're saying that Israel is not sustainable, but also everybody else, okay, that is like, it's like, this is what we told you about, like showing like half the truth. It's like showing something about Israel and painting something that's normal.
Let me respond. So Daniel, to me, I think democracy is precious and it's something that we need to cherish and try to fight for. And in Israel and in the U.S., which I know most about, I'm not claiming to be a geopolitical world expert. I've written extensively about U.S. policy, so I know about our system. I know about Israel's system because I was born into a Jewish family that's obsessed with Israel, so I know a little bit about there, but not as much as you, Daniel. And I feel it's a real tragedy that these systems that have been built to protect everyone, to be democratic, to preserve human rights have been completely eroded in the last couple of years. And I'm sad that these strong men have taken over and are thwarting the will of the public and the people. I think we need to use whatever institutions we have that are designed to hold power accountable and represent the people. And so that's why I see actually a parallel in the struggles in the U.S. and Israel, because my two countries that I identify with most and I know most about are falling apart. Where for years and years and years they protected minorities, they tried to at least aspire towards equal rights and certain values, and to see that eroding is just really heartbreaking.
So basically your problem with those democracies is that you didn't win the elections. Your side didn't win the elections.
No,
the other
these
side
are corrupt.
has a different point of.
That's not true. I criticize Democrats all the time. I criticize Democrats too.
Everybody's corrupt. Okay.
No, I know in Israel you don't have the corruption laws, but in America we do have very strict.
What do you mean we don't have corruption?
I know you guys think this is normal for politicians to be corrupt.
What is Israel? What is Bibi now accused of?
Corruption, but you guys think it's a joke.
Hold on, but you said like 5 seconds ago you guys don't have corruption laws in Israel.
You're claiming everyone's corrupt. Not in America. We don't believe in corrupt politicians. We prosecute them. We try to hold them to account. We don't conflict of interest laws.
You're very intense and it's really hard to have a conversation. No, words matter, and I keep pointing it out to you. You said.
I'm sorry. I'm reflecting what you said, which is who gives a shit.
No, you said in Israel
you said who gives a shit. Listen, I understand you have laws, but you guys think it's a joke. But you think it's a joke, Daniel, right? You don't care about
it. I will not let it go because I understand that you
yes, I know you have trials. I know there's anti-corruption laws, but you're undermining your own checks and balances.
I will put the mirror in your face. You said in Israel you don't have corruption laws, but in the United States we do.
No, I know you have laws. You're right. You're right. You do have corruption laws, but you, Daniel, don't give a shit about them.
The corruption laws and their persecution is not...
And your government is fighting to dismantle them.
Hold on, you might be surprised, okay? But it doesn't really work whether Daniel agrees or not, and you actually don't know what I agree with or not, okay? I actually do think that corruption laws are very important, and I think that it's not about the law, it's about the investigation, first of all, okay? And whether they're trying or not, the fact is that he is now on trial for corruption. That is the reality on the ground. While you say, and you come on stage here and saying, Daniel, which never said it, doesn't think is laughing about it, whatever that means, that overrules the fact that there's actually proceedings.
You're right. You're correct.
The Prime Minister will go 4 times a week to trial on corruption. Boo-hoo what? I'm talking about you, Buttercup. The discussion that I'm having is about you. It's about the way that you present facts. I'm not sure if it's...
I agree with you. I concede it. There are laws, but you dismiss them. You say every politician is corrupt, and I disagree with that. I think it's not to be that today.
No, I didn't say every politician. I said they're all corrupt, okay? Meaning like both Republicans and Democrats. I didn't say that everybody's corrupted. Power does corrupt, okay? Politics is a lot about...
Which is why you need free press, free speech.
Yes, and we do have free press and free speech.
Right? So why are you... all day expressing it and you're calling me a capo?
I tell you what, first of all, I take it back to the capo.
Thank you. You all heard it.
Less about you, more about, I think that the word is... as I tell you, words have meaning, and and this is the... like 80% of why, but also I know that offended you, maybe, so I take it back. But I also so.
We were talking about corruption and whether it's a problem in Israel and whether you're concerned about it.
No, I'm saying it's a problem in general, and sometimes like it's also about how much you fund like those units.
But look at Qatargate. You think that kind of person should be running a war involves Qatar as one of the parties, negotiating parties that we just bombed? Like, how does that serve Israelis people to have like this massive bribery scandal in the Prime Minister's office while you're prosecuting a war against Hamas that involves negotiators from Qatar? How does that benefit Israel?
I think it actually shows the democracy in Israel, how that this is something that is exposed by the media, is constantly on discourse, is constantly addressed. Those people were arrested.
So we do like the media now. Now the media is good.
There's a lot of pressure on, or not really pressure, like a lot of criticism about Netanyahu regarding this. Even if he didn't have time, like his reaction should have been this or that. So this is, I think, a healthy democracy. Not saying like hire the commander or we don't investigate. This is actually one of the many talking points that people have against us is because we are transparent, because we investigate, because we are prosecuting, because we talk about it, because we expose things. You know, from B'Tselem to the Shovrei Shtika to you even came here and was using there was a Supreme Court decision to give the Nukhba terrorists in jails more food, trying to present this as bad instead of wow, even if Ben-Gvir is trying to do something, there is law. And at the end, even the Nukhba terrorists, those people, I don't know if you know what Nukhba terrorists is, look it up. It's not
I do, I understand, but a lot of them are innocent. You know they released 30% of them, they're innocent.
Hold on, innocent.
And a lot of them are kids. Their kids are service death at the jail.
If they were arrested in Israel, innocent they are not, okay? And I'm talking about the Nukhba terrorists. Circle, Jews, whatever, none of the Nukhba terrorists is innocent
These workers do it for their
None,
children's
zero.
future.
Okay,
Respect their
minus
hard
one.
work,
They even
and for
owe us.
them, do
I don't know if we
subscribe.
find another one.
Look at this
Like
coal
zero.
miners,
Okay,
working deep
and
underground,
those
almost
no
3,000 meter
hotels,
under,
which
cutting
are
through rocks to find black.
not the Nazi, really worse than Nazi because they were like so barbaric. Okay, so inhumane. Those Nukba terrorists still had someone, I can look it up who was, that filed a lawsuit, or like I don't know if it's called a lawsuit, whatever, to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decided that those people will get, I don't know, whatever the decision was, that they need to get a bit more food. Okay, this is the system. The one that you're trying to present as corrupt system.
Is everyone that stayed Taman, are they all Nukhba? Do you think they're all Nukhba?
The what?
Everyone who was at State Timon before it was dismantled by your government, by your courts. Do you think they were all Nukhba?
I'm talking about, this is specifically about the Nukhba terrorists. Okay?
Is there a special unit for the Nukhba that are confirmed?
There were the people that were arrested, you know,
I understand. I'm saying is there a special section for them because everyone's treated the same in that State Timon. They're all smart.
The people that from State Timon are people that, as far as I remember, came from Gaza. That were arrested in Gaza.
Right.
And they were brought into this makeshift whatever jail.
Right. Were they treated well there?
I don't think so.
There was like a 98-year-old woman. There was disabled people, kids with Down syndrome in there.
I understand. Listen, you need to understand also the harsh reality that you are. First of all, that it's a war. Okay, no, it's not a hotel. Those people were taken not just randomly.
Disabled single mom for 2 months.
Can I please speak? Okay. They were taken in a war zone. Usually after evacuation in places that they shouldn't have been. We don't know the circumstances. Again, war. They are taken because the Hamas is also like using disabled children. They're using like women. They're using old people. Yes. Yeah. So they are taking them. It is war, and then they're interrogated or whatever, checked, released. We apologize for the inconvenience, but again, you are just trying to really. You're trying. The IDF will fight the war while being able to absolutely do nothing. We cannot go into houses because you don't want to evacuate the population. We cannot basically do anything because as long as if Hamas will not wear his full uniform and will present his gun, what can you tell us? How are we supposed to conduct the war? Which it will be like pleasant and nice, because unfortunately wars are not pleasant or nice, especially when they are like in an urban city. They're not nice. And as much as if you need to understand that in wars there's like usually like bad option and worse option. And when you present what was chosen and show it was a bad choice, maybe. But the other option was worse. And there is no good choice.
100%. Actually, Daniel, this is why I always tell my family who are Zionists, why we shouldn't describe an army as moral, because armies and governments are inherently not moral. They're pragmatic. They always have to choose between an immoral option or a less moral option, right? So why even frame it in terms of morality? And that brings us back to the first point, which is the most moral army in the world. You're just setting yourself up for failure. So maybe stop saying that.
No, I don't. Why would I stop saying it? You can prove me wrong, and then we can have a discussion about it.
You should never be operating on moral standards. You should be operating on
morality.
Utilitarian standards. That's not moral.
No. I disagree with you. Maybe for you. For us, it is about moral. In the IDF, there is a lot to do with morality, especially in basic training. It's about also learning from history and about different battles also, like historical battles, but definitely about morals and about law and what about legal. So there are few levels of protection. It's not just what the government decides. There's, yes, morality, how we are taught to treat the weapon, how we are taught to treat people, how to see them, to understand what is a threat, an active threat. You remember the story about what's his face, Elor Azaria? Remember? Elor Azaria, there was a terrorist in Jerusalem, and I think he tried to stab a soldier, and he was shot, but he wasn't killed. He was laying on the floor, And then, they kind of surrounded the area, many soldiers. He was still laying on the floor, calling all people to see if he has bomb on him. But it was under control, as we say, he was just on the floor. And then, 11 minutes later, this soldier shot him. And he said, he moved. I thought he will operate whatever. And he was basically taken to trial because at that point he was not. Yes, he was a terrorist. Yes, he tried to kill someone, but he was not posing a threat anymore at that point. And this is why the boy went to trial, and then he went went to jail. Yes, there were people that were crying about why you prosecute. It's good. There were voices saying that it's a good thing.
Should have signed
No,
their name in the Geneva Convention.
I remember that incident. I have seen that.
Should have signed their name in the Geneva Convention.
And I've seen this trial also.
So let me just land, okay? I understand that I spoke too much. I will let them guys speak. So yes, I didn't notice that you came. I thought I was talking only to Buttercup. So morality has a lot to do with it, and then there's law. Like the army has a legal system, and also the country has a legal system. And then we go to the government. It's not just like one player. Now, inshallah.
Good check, suck my dick. Daniel.
Mr. Mayfield.
Okay, let's keep it civil. So I want to point to the chat where I posted a link. I posted a link for, Danny, you were talking about morality. I want to talk to the council for the IDF. The goal is to keep their own soldiers out of prison and out of the international courts for doing war crimes, right? And so the council says this Gaza City operation is not feasible, and there's serious questions of humanitarian. And this is like the first time, perhaps ever, that the army has gone against the advice of their own council, which is designed to protect them from war crime charges, right? So we're talking about the most moral in the world. How does that get? Where does that get you? Okay, you don't even follow the advice for what's ethical and moral of your own. The IDF doesn't follow the advice of its own ethical council, and legal council. Anyway, Wednesday, did you want to say something about the Geneva Convention?
No, there's a helicopter going by.
Is that what it is?
Okay.
Also lost
Daniel, do you have thoughts on the fact that Israel is defying the advice of its own legal counsel?
Let's just call
it. I think start with the word resolve claims. So I tell you how I think in general, okay? What's in it for claims? So we're talking about, journalism. In Germany, who signs this? Because at the end, they say army rejects baseless reform. So now, hold on a second. So let's present it like this. I don't know this case, but let's investigate together. There's one that says reform claims, and the other said the army rejects. Basically, the IDF says it's a baseless reform, says it acts according to the law. Because what the IDF says.
Let me tell you the original report. It was Haaretz did an expose where she, the council, spoke directly to them, and other people confirmed the meeting and the discussions, and said she was excluded from the final decision making, which never happened before. And let me post the Haaretz article, even though you think that they have a bias, because that's the report that's cited in here, okay? Citing the expose. It was like an exclusive that included quotes from this woman, who is the official counsel for the IDF, that they decided to go ignore her, exclude her from the meeting. They said she confirms it. She expressed her opinion multiple times, and the IDF they excluded her from the final decision-making meeting, which is unprecedented, and decided to go ahead with this operation that she said is not possible because there's no hospital beds left in where they're being transferred to, and it's going to create a humanitarian catastrophe, and she can't shield soldiers from charges of war crimes. And so she gave them advice, and they went ahead and excluded her from it, and she, even after they did that, she wrote them another letter saying, this is my professional opinion, and it's not changed. And they did it anyway. So now they're pretty much intentionally defying their own legal counsel, which is designed to protect them and your nephews that are in the area right now. Not to get personal.
Personal. I suppose Williams every kind of nasty things in the world.
Before I leave.
What?
What would you have paid?
I know, it's hard. You don't get personal. You call the nasty things. Women
So you got a good deal.
So I just want to say, so at the end, oh, where did she go?
Actually, I lied. I would have taken 4.
Where did she go?
A palace cat. Solitary and secretive. But he's actually one of the world's smallest wild cats and a formidable hunter. He's got the longest and densest fur of any cat on Earth. It insulates him against the freezing temperatures and makes him look bigger than he is.
She alerted
For now,
that he
keeping
could not
warm
be
is
able
not
to
his
prevent
priority.
the legality of the move.
He's on the hunt.
Next, the army will present analysis of the military.
The targets are these guys. Hikers.
House a million of people in the south of the Gaza. But he ignored the position and gave the order. And the army
His
said that this
expertise
is a very
is the stalk.
what do you call it, limited representation of the I don't know, so in the army they presented a partial description of the military situation.
Twitching with excitement. He inches closer. The palace cat is right on top of his prey. The timing of the pounce is all that now separates him from the next meal. Food at last. A palace cat, solitary and secretive, but he's actually one of
Jew from India. She was a lady from India. It was about 15 to 20 years ago. So she was asked by her parents to go to Israel. She said, no. Israel is doing bad things and things like that. So she wanted to get into one of the premier institutions in India.
But he's actually...
So the condition was if she couldn't get into that premier institution, she will
This is the cheapest gold in the world. This is how they make Chinese gold. Workers take stainless steel and shape it into bracelets and earrings, then coat it with this thick yellow stuff that looks just like real gold and acts the same way. They pile it on so heavy that it covers the whole thing, making sure it won't stick to a magnet. After that, they buff it down till it's smooth and give it a good wash with soap and water. Boom, ready to sell and wear. If someone wants to cash in, they just melt it down, dunk it in water, and it hardens into one solid chunk, ready to be reworked. It's seriously cheap, but looks just like the real deal.
Palestinians can work there. She saw things with her own eyes. Then her perspective changed. Then she performed Alia. She went back to Israel and I think she's staying there right now. So though these people who are, living in different countries have got a different perspective. It is shaped by their societies. Like Buttercup here thinks that, I think she's from America. She thinks in an American way. Freedom and all things. But she doesn't apply that to the other side. I have not seen a Muslim room that condemns Hamas or like they do Israel.
There's no narration.
Or whether they condemn Qatar or any other Middle Eastern countries where they repress people or the freedoms are restricted or they support terrorists. No condemnation at all. Despite Qatar hosting so much of terrorist organizations, including the Hamas and this, what do you call it? The Taliban. Did anyone condemn Qatar? No? Nobody's condemning. So this is a double standard.
And also they're playing, and also Israel played like Qatar is like a legitimate country, and Qatar also wants to be seen as like a legitimate country. They try to, which is a bit weird. On the one hand, they try to distance themselves from all the terrorists.
They want to be puppet masters.
but they are funding terrorists. They are like doing Qatar, Al Jazeera, sorry, and they are hosting Hamas leaders on their soil. And they're gonna, I guess the money talks, you know?
Exactly.
I don't get, by the way, this plane thing. Like,
they are a small country. They have got enough resources. They have got enough money. They are trying to play both sides. Actually, they are trying to export the Wahhabism which Saudi Arabia exported. They want to do.
Yeah, but giving the plane is not like just a gift between, like, I don't know, friends or even countries. It's something very public, very visible. You know, everybody seeing that Qatar is gifting to the United States. I'm trying to kind of make sense of it. What is the message?
Message is, even if they do small things, which is insignificant for us, like what we do in private or what we do